All right, going live, cold opening, brand new Knuckleheads Breakaway version. How's everybody doing today? I'm just getting used to this setup. Hello, Action Toys. Hello, Nern. Hello, everybody. Lovely to have you here. I don't have the intro and stuff worked out yet, so I'm going to be working on that in a little bit. We'll figure that out. How is everyone doing today, though? Good to have you all. Hopefully it is a good day for you and yours. Hey, there's awesome. How you doing? Welcome, everybody. I know it's been a little while since we've done one of these. Hello, Naughty One. Good to see you again. Good to see everybody. Showing back here. We have some stuff to talk about today. I'm excited. Had the entire day off. It's been a glorious one. Good to hear. Very, very good to hear. And we have some stuff to talk about today. So stuff on the docket. I'm gonna put it out there. We're gonna discuss briefly. It's not gonna be a very long show. So this new format that we're doing, this new format's a little bit different. Your Toys has a bad toothache because you ate that entire apple pie. That's what happened. That's what happened. You ate that whole apple pie to yourself. So the rundown of what this new thing is going to be. So I'm going to do these when I have stuff to talk about and it's just me. I don't have any guests. I don't have any co-hosts, special people to join me. It's just gonna be me, 100%. I'll do the regular shows when I have like someone. I'll have someone joining me or whatever else, right? Where's the box that contains me? Gone. There's no box. There's no box anymore. I'm free to move around. Hello, Lido Enchanted. How you doing? So that's what these shows are going to be now. So the Breakaway shows. Well, this is like really weird. I'm like dusting off here. Exactly. Lack of video windows. Lack of video windows. So when it's just me here doing whatever, we're gonna have this show. We're gonna have breakaways. When it's a full show, we'll have the full shows. But today is a breakaway because it's just me. I'm not having any guests. I'm not having anything special. It's just plain old me. Solo. Well, I guess it's me and the chat because y'all are here. I feel so good. I do feel so good. Don't get Thanos. I'll try not to. I'll have to figure out the settings so I don't get snapped. So I don't get snapped here. Oh, you follow Toys here. Nice. Welcome. But yeah, so the on the docket for today, I'm going to be giving an open letter to the trans community, as well as Gina Carano. Both of them, because I recently heard Gina's comments about on I can't remember what the fuck his name is, Ben Shapiro, on Shapiro's show, about how the trans community needs a better spokesperson for them. So I have something to say to both that and the community itself. You have a box of sweets and a cup of tea. Let's do this. Simon Leach, welcome. And I also have some things to say about the state of the convention community. We're gonna start out with that. We're gonna leave the juicy bits for Gina and the trans community a little bit later. It's not gonna be a very long show. I'll give you guys a heads up now. It's not going to be a very long show. This is more so for people that are going to want to catch the replays, things like that. So we'll do shorter shows for the breakaways. So I'm just not going to be sitting here for 3 hours boring y'all with my ramblings. Just get RuPaul to be a spokesperson? Absolutely not. Michael Sitko, welcome. That's probably one of the worst people to get to be a spokesperson for trans individuals Because drag queens are not trans. Drag queens identify as men, and they dress up and perform as drag queens. Oh, you have lots of tea? All the tea to spill all over your keyboard. Well, first thing that I want to do is give a shout out. Can we have Astolfo be the spokesperson? I mean, maybe. Yeah, RuPaul will be a horrible person for trans. He's not trans exactly. 100%. So first thing, I want to give a shout out to one particular group I don't exactly like, but you know, they made the right decision this time, in my opinion. My opinion, not a lot of people's opinions, but in my opinion, they made the right choice. I also need to figure out how the hell to like get the chat to show your people's chats. Do I like maybe because I have it set on Stream Elements right now to show that, but maybe I'll change that around in the future so y'all have different colored names. I know, racism. Stream canceled, racism. Talking about colored names. But I want to give a shout out to Anime North for making the correct decision. I don't know if many people have been really following this. And this is a backhanded compliment too. So don't get off your seats with pitchforks just yet. I want to give a shout out to Anime North for finally deciding to cancel 2021. Blair White's a solid spokesperson. These insane bullies hiding behind keyboards are anti-spokespeople. You're correct. We're going to get into that very soon. But kudos to Anime North for finally deciding to stop putting their individuals in peril, like their staff. After going behind the scenes and emailing everybody and saying that we're not going to have volunteers this year, saying that the staff is going to have to run the entire convention, and saying that that the staff is not only going to have to replace all of the volunteers, but they're also going to have to do it for free because they're not paying for their hotel room and they're not paying for anything, period. They finally, after Toronto brought the hammer down and said absolutely no events are going to be happening. No city-sponsored events, period, are going to be happening until at least after July 1st. It took the city of Toronto to put the fucking foot down and say, no, we're not having any events. For them to finally have a backbone and come out and say, you know what, 2021 probably just isn't a good year to have an event. Which, I mean, in Ontario, so folks, I understand out there are cities in the United States and there are cities in elsewhere, Canada, that are in much a better situation for coronavirus than we are. Unfortunately, because boomers love to be assholes, and just like they love to be self-centered 100% about them. Because we still have people like snowbirds coming from hotspot Florida, bringing coronavirus back. We still have 55 plus AARP members going to different countries and bringing back variants of the virus. So we have absolutely no control of it here in Ontario, and every time that we try to reopen, we get slapped in the face with another wave. So we're heading into another wave in April, and Anime North thought that it was a great idea to just have a limited event. No, they only want to limit it to like 10 or 20,000 people, right? This is what they mean by limited. But they were going to staff one hotel with all of their staff. They weren't going to have any volunteers whatsoever, and they thought that was a great idea. Until recently, when the city of Toronto said, "No, it's not a good idea. You're not getting a permit," and so they were forced to shut down. So I mean, kudos to them for finally, you know, demonstrating that they have oxygenated blood flowing through their veins. Yeah, Ontario is really bad right now for cases, like really bad for cases, because there's a lot of large businesses that are refusing to abide by the laws, suggestions, and aren't properly enforcing things. Now, I'm not talking about masks. I'm talking about idiots that think, you know, okay, 6 feet only applies in front and behind me. 6 feet, the virus doesn't travel laterally. Obviously, the virus is just either a pawn or a knight. It does not move side to side. It only moves forward and backwards. But yeah, there you go. There's been a lot of idiots in Ontario, and we're paying the price for it. Most of those idiots are from Toronto, by the way, because Toronto is told people in Toronto are told very specifically, stay the fuck home, and if you can't stay home, stay in your city. And the first thing they do is travel outside of their city to go to stores that they can't go to. So it's wonderful. You went to a local toy show, first one you've gone in a while. Build is vintage, and it was a lot of newer stuff. Maybe they're just getting older, Tom. That's what it is. Would the scary kitty get in trouble if he hissed at someone? I mean, probably, without a mask. Depending on the store. The virus knows that if you're protesting, you stay dormant for protests. Exactly. The virus is only active from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. It's a vampire virus, apparently. Virus thinks that driving down... Yeah, it's only driving down a one-way street. Can't turn left or right. Can't turn left or right. can't do it. You just can't do it. But apparently everyone in Ontario is a bunch of papagas, so we are paying the price for it, and we're getting an extended lockdown. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we're back in lockdown in April. My region's still in red, so we'll see how that goes. But the only reason that you know we're out of lockdown is because parents wanted their kids to go back to school because they couldn't stand parenting them anymore. So great time. Which brings us back to Anime North. You know, dumping your kids off at Anime North was a pastime for several years, for quite a few families. Wonder how they're handling that now. So that'd be really interesting. I'm gonna get into the future of how I see the convention community in just a few moments here. But one thing I did want to talk about before that as well. I wanted to talk about OttawaV Con, just very briefly. Now, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, 8-Bit Shinobi, who's the person behind, like the man behind OttawaV Con, I believe he actually did come to Kitchener Comic Con. He's actually a decent individual. He's a nice person. He's donated a lot of stuff to a bunch of different content creators. He's been a huge supporter of Vic Mignogna. And while he does not have the most pristine grasp of the English language or the punctuation and or grammar of said language, that does not mean that he's a terrible person. Let me just say that first of all. Let me just say that I don't believe... I'm going on record, okay? I'm going on record and saying I don't believe that he's scamming anybody. I don't believe that he's trying to screw people and everything else like that. I have strong reservations about virtual conventions, like standalone virtual conventions to begin with. I think it's a really rough thing to put together. Congrats on the reboot. This is just a different format. So we're still gonna have the other shows, like I was mentioning in the beginning there, Gippy. We're still gonna have the other shows when I have guests and when I have like co-hosts and stuff, or special guest co-hosts. But solo shows, when it's just me talking and it's a shorter format, we're gonna be doing this one. We're gonna be doing this show. And I have to wonder what the next COVID variant will be. Probably something from Zimbabwe. I think we might actually get what the heck's it called? Somalian variant. Maybe a Persian variant. Who knows? The variant that makes us all into princes, oil princes. I think that's the next one. I think that's the next variant. When we all get millions of dollars that we can't access, we have to send it to somebody else to access first. But yeah, so the formats of these shows, we're gonna have if it's just me talking, if it's just me rambling my ass off, it's gonna be the Breakaway show, and if it's me with guests and stuff, it'll be the regular Canuckleheads format, because that works for multiple people. Didn't work for a single person, because just me being a lunatic on here is not that great. But going back to OttawaV Con before I get too far ahead of myself, I think virtual conventions are the Falky variant. Exactly. I think virtual conventions are a really tough thing to put together. Case in point, okay, there was a convention, and this is no shade. This is no shade on the convention that just happened last weekend, okay? Even though there was a lot of people that were featuring at this event, there's a lot of people that were featuring at this event that I really have no fucking taste for, because they're a bunch of scumbags. And, they can fuck themselves as far as I'm concerned. Some individuals. But that's not the convention's fault. That's the individual's fault. So this is no shade at the convention. I'm not sure if there's many people out there that are familiar with the convention Con G. Now, Con G was my very first convention I ever went to. Virtual conventions are easy to set up, very difficult to do well. Con G was the first convention I went to. Con G was the convention that got me hooked on conventions, and unfortunately, the first fucking Con G I went to, they shut down the year after. It was their finale, because they had a bunch of people giving them fucking grief constantly, and it was a lot. It's a lot of fucking work to put together, and it's a lot of fucking work to put together for free, which is most of the case. So when I saw that Con G was starting a virtual convention, I got really excited, because that was one of my favorite events that I'd ever went to, and they were, from what I understood, really nice people. I don't know who's running it now. It's all still pretty locked up on who all's running it, but I thought it was really good, and I was hoping that maybe that if it did well, it's just G as in the letter G, because it was in Guelph, and it was also a play on kanji, which is a food, and all that other stuff. But Momocon and Otaku-san had substantial backbone behind it. Others are just like, hey, let's stream for 10 hours on Twitch. That's pretty much it. So when I saw what Anime North did, that set a standard for virtual events that was very, very bad, because if you're gonna watch someone on Twitch, you may as well just watch someone on Twitch. Like, why are you visiting a quote unquote virtual event to do that? That makes literally no fucking sense. But so when I saw Con G was jumping into this, I'm like, okay, well, maybe hopefully that means that they're gonna be getting back into the game. I don't really think they're going to. I think this was just to test the water to see how a virtual event would work for them. Hello, Gav. How are you doing? Yeah, Anime North's virtual event was a Twitch stream, which most of them are. I mean, the creativity behind a virtual event, it's bad, right? Because you need to create things that are unique. You need to create things that are that you can't just go out and do yourself normally. Or at least if you could go out and do it yourself, then you're charging exponentially less for what it would cost for you to do that by yourself through a pass for your event. Like, this was the problem that I had with Anime North, and the problem that Con G had as well, was that they relied far too much on the potential following of the guests that they had. Now, I'm not talking about bringing in a Vic Mignogna. I'm not talking about bringing in, like an amazing, huge person, right? Like they're not bringing in a Gina Carano. They're not bringing in, what's a big name, like a Mark Hamill, right? They're not bringing in names. They're bringing in cosplayers. They're bringing in people in their community they think are huge because they have a lot of numbers behind their name. But those numbers aren't people. They're not. They're just not. They're not real. They're not real numbers. They're numbers that are appearing, but they don't pay out. So the problem that Anime North ran into, and the problem that Con-G ran into, and I think the problem that OttawaV Con may run into if he doesn't do it correctly. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how he's doing it, but is the fact that they brought in guests with no weight behind them, with nothing else to give. Some of them were just giving pre-recorded shit to the event. Like somebody would go out and record a how-to video on like how to put together a cosplay or how to do this. Con-G's masquerade, for example, and this has to be done. Like I understand for logistic reasons. Con-G's masquerade was done pre-recorded. They sent in their like 30-second clips, and Con-G put it all together and they put it up on YouTube. Now, here's the problem with that, right? You have a bunch of cosplayers in the Toronto cosplay community that have all jumped all over this because they haven't been in a convention in a year and a half, right? Anime North flopped. People got 0 fucking views on Twitch from being on Anime North because Anime North has no Twitch presence. Anime North has no virtual presence. Anime North's big thing was going to Anime North and having a field convention and congressing outside of the event itself. Being inside, there's nobody in Anime North. You can be one of 200 pop vendors indoors, and that's it. Anime North, you're just standing outside with your friends for free, paying for overpriced Starbucks. That's Anime North. So when you're talking about a virtual convention, they have no virtual pull. They have no online presence. So number one, you're not getting anything from going to an Anime North like virtual convention. You have any con sluts? Right? You don't get anything from going to a virtual convention. Period. At all. Oh, I almost forgot. I have to find this. My Stream Elements. I set up a thing on my Stream Elements, folks, where if you donate to the thingy, you can text to speech. Let me just find it. You have to go to the Stream Element thing, though. There's my tipping page. How do I send the link to the tipping page, though? Okay, there it is. Donation button. So if you go here and you donate, I think $2 or more, it will text to speech whatever message you put in there. That's just a new feature I'm putting on there, by the way. The new feature I'm testing out. I got this, I got that thing over there. That chat Stream Elements thing's working. It should pop up messages now. I'm hoping it works. That's the tipping thing there. If you click on that link, it should text to speech. And I think I have it set to I have it set to a British lady right now. So y'all can check that out and have fun. Anyways, as I was saying. So Anime North has no online presence. Most of these things have no online presence. I mean, does the voice do Lemoyne voice? Unfortunately, no. They don't have Shambling Old Man. At least not yet. Not that I've found. Take me home tonight. Oh my god, that would take forever. That would take forever. But so they don't have any. They don't have any like online presence. They don't have anything like that. I felt bad for Con-G because Con-G had been out of the game for probably about 7-8 years. They were a convention that ran probably 2 years. Like the last convention for Kanji, I think, ran 2 years before the first Kitchener Comic Con. So it's been a long time since Kanji's been a name, like anywhere. Like people like me would know because like I went there like fucking 10 years ago. But there's a generation of people out there that didn't, and they don't know what that is. And so, do you think conventions should try to be content creators? No, because they aren't. Conventions are platforms. Conventions are not content creators. Conventions are publishers. Conventions are platforms. They're not. They don't generate their own content. That's a big difference. They showcase content. They don't generate their own content. So when Kanji had their convention, their online convention, I think it was last week. They had a bunch of like Twitch channels. Has not set up tipping yet. Oh, 1 second. I have set it up. Oh, I need to connect my PayPal. That's why. I'm so stupid. Like, I'm like looking right at it, and it's like, connect your PayPal. So dumb. Save. It should work now, I think. Let me just try it. Oh yeah, there it goes. It's set up now. I think. Should be. Anywho. Boomer. Boomer! So, when Kanji had it was pretty much Twitch channels. Like, the one thing I will give Kanji, as far as I'm aware, Kanji did this, but they may not have. They routed everything through their Twitch channel. I could be wrong. They could have just been advertising other people's Twitches while they were. But I mean, like, why wouldn't you just be on your own Twitch at that point? Kanji's site either got DNS poisoned or they didn't bother to renew the domain. I think they might have shut it down actually because they had a different site. But after their virtual convention, I don't know. They might have shut it down completely because I don't think it went very well. So basically, from what I gathered from their social media posts, they were getting little to no engagement. Yeah, Google's dumb. You got it. Yeah, Kanji had resurrected a different website, I think, or just something very close. But again, like, I'm no shade on Kanji or the people that run it because I think that they did their absolute fucking best. But they got little to no engagement, which was really sad because you had a group of people that were desperate to get back into conventions and get them going. And it was a sad thing. It was a sad thing because they got nothing. Their big shining crown jewel was supposed to be their masquerade. Okay. They had tons of people come together and put together a masquerade, and they obviously worked hard in putting the video together. It was a 20-minute video. And I think at least 20 people, because I think it's a 30-second to a minute clip or something like that, 30 seconds to 45 seconds per person. There's a lot of fucking people that entered this masquerade and put a lot of work into it, right? This is what I mean about the Toronto cosplay community. And this is full shade on the Toronto cosplay community, okay? You get 20 to 50 people. I don't know how many is in there. You get 20 to 50 people that enter a masquerade, right? You would think you could at least, like, depending on how many, it has 56 views. Exactly. Depending on how many people you have in that video, there could be content creators in there that have tens of thousands of followers on Instagram or Twitch or YouTube or Twitter. They got 56 views. 56 views. Now, Gippy, let me exclamation point this here. They had 56 views as of a week ago. Nobody's watched it since. Period. That's an embarrassment. That's an embarrassment. And honestly, I feel bad for Con G because that's not necessarily Con G's fault. Not necessarily Con G's fault. That is 100%. Well, I'm probably like 75% on the cosplayers that don't fucking talk about it. This is why bringing in cosplayers to a convention, non-professionals, by the way, why bringing in non-professionals like cosplayers into conventions, paying for them to be there, either through free tables, through free advertising, through incentives, through whatever else, is a fucking waste of time. Because unless you're talking about a top tier name, and even then, you're getting nothing in return. You're literally throwing money out the fucking window. Exactly, Gav. What it's supposed to be. What it's supposed to be, but it never is. So, full stop. The cosplay community, largely the Toronto cosplay community, has been an absolute poison to conventions in this region, in Southern Ontario, largely across. It worked!
Ernesto de Villa tipped $3.33, just testing it out the stream elements.
Thank you so much for the 333. It worked. Let's go. Ernesto. There was something in the air that night. The stars were bright. Ernesto. How it goes, right? It fucking worked. I'm surprised something that I put together for the first time worked on the first try. Let's go. Celebration. Celebration. Nighttime sharpens. So, yeah, so it has been like a long, and it's honestly, there's nothing wrong with the management of Con G, as far as I'm aware. It was fine. They brought in some big fucking names. The last time that Con G was an actual physical convention, they did a really good fucking job. And I will say 100%, I pulled some of the ideas for Kitchener Comic Con from how Con G ran things, and it was very successful because of that. So no shade on Con G, because I think they did an amazing job with what they could, but unfortunately, they got no support. And I don't know how people expect conventions to run with zero support at all. How is that supposed to happen? So this is what brings me to my next point. So I know Anime North nixed their virtual convention. Let me just say this. Unless you are giving a full virtual experience, don't fucking run a virtual convention, for the love of God. For the love of God. Please. Which is what I'll say this to OttawaV Con, because OttawaV Con's putting a lot into pulling a bunch of people. I know they've drawn a lot of criticism for how much they're charging, everything else like that. It doesn't matter. People are going to pay it or they're not going to pay it. People out there saying, oh, they're charging too much. It's them. It's their event to ruin. If they want to charge $500 for a ticket, they can charge $500 for a ticket. If you don't like it, make your own virtual event. Everyone's doing it. Everybody's doing it. Yeah, Vic was going to a virtual event in New Jersey or something this weekend. Sad man, Ernesto. But yeah, so for people out there that are criticizing OttawaV Con, this is the type of, like, I'll say this over and over and over and over again, okay? On both sides of the fence, people are guilty of this, telling people how to run businesses. Just let them fucking do it. Let them do it. If they fuck up, it's their fuck up. They can either learn from it or they can crash. One way or the other. We see the people out there already out there trying to cancel it because Vic's going. I mean, they also have Stephanie Nadolny, and I'm pretty sure Chuck Huber giving virtual things as well. So the people that are out there supporting Horsejack Bowman, Bojack Horsewoman, and the amazing remote man, they want to go out and cancel people that they apparently support too. I mean, just to stick it to Vic, why not? Why not? But I know I've talked to Shinobi has asked me a couple times for some advice on that, and I told him just ignore the people that are being assholes because they're not going to go to your event anyway. They don't care. It's whatever. Yeah, there's a whale sighting in Texas, like a physical whale sighting in Texas. Unfortunate. It really shouldn't be out of water this time of year, but you know how it is. Must be awkward. Well, it's like anything. It's like anything in business, Gav. You just go to work. You keep your head down. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. I mean, there's a lot of people at Funimation know they fucked up, and there's a lot of people that are within Funimation that know the hammer's coming fucking down. So everyone's doing what they can to keep their jobs. And it's unfortunate because I don't think Funimation should be where it is. From what I heard, it's allergic to jelly beans. one of the panels is gonna be snack trays, do's and don'ts. Now I was so before I get into this next one, I'll finish off on my thoughts on Shinobi here. I'll finish off on my thoughts on Shinobi here. There's a lot of people that are falsely attacking it because Vic is going. There's also a group of people that are falsely attacking it because they don't want to see it succeed, because they want it to be a laughing stock thing. They want something else to laugh at. They don't necessarily want to slap Vic down, but they want something else to laugh at because it's been boring. So there's these two groups of individuals, and I think they're both equally stupid. And they both need a fucking new hobby, because bottom feeding is just, it's not good for your health. But these people both need to move on. All 12 of them need to move on and find something else to do. Because Shinobi had been mentioning that he'd been losing and having sponsors threatened by these groups being lunatics. Just leave conventions. Just leave conventions alone. Give them their warning. Don't go after their sponsorships. They'll make their mistakes. Again, like if the Great White Whale and the Remote Shinobi Master want to go to a convention, let them. Let the convention make that mistake. That convention will learn, because they're going to have them in, they're going to pay their price, and then no one's going to show up, and they're going to lose money. And who do they have to blame for that? They can't blame Vic. They'll only have one person or one set or one very large person to blame. That's pretty much it. So let them go. Let them go. You'd be shocked if 10 people actually pay the $200 meet and greet for any of the guests on OttawaV Con. You'd be surprised, Gippy. There probably will be. There probably will be. There's people, so like, no shade. There are people that pay money to get a 10-second pre-recorded clip. People will pay it if number one, they have the money, and number two, they're fans and they want to support something. It is what it is. And Vic is doing the Neutral Zone tours once a month. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, and so you also see that there's a lot of freaking morons out there trying to put together voice acting lessons and shit like that. It's like just money grabs, because they're desperate for cash and no one's asking them. Let me just say, who is the first person in your mind? Who is the first person in your mind that comes to mind when you say, I want to get voice acting lessons? Is it Marky? I don't think it is. Do I want to get voice acting lessons from one of the fucking nobodies in the industry? That, if I walk down the street and I ask you, do you know this individual? People will be like, who the fuck is that? You mention what they've worked on, they'd be like, what the fuck is that? I mean, like, you could, Tom, you could probably get better voice acting lessons from a dead person than half of these people offering voice acting lessons right now. Literally. Like, part of voice acting is acting. You need to be a good actor in order to act. And there's a lot of people that are missing that. Yeah, they could sound crisp and clean, and they could sound like, a 10-year-old boy. That's fine, but the acting is left wanting. Let's just say that. So, in terms of the convention scene and the community and what I see for this could very well be a death knell for conventions. If especially in Ontario. In the U.S., I don't think it's going to be that bad because I think cities and people are spread out enough that there's still going to be events. I mean, you guys love your state fairs, and conventions are like state fairs for nerds. So that's like an ingrained culture within the United States. In Canada, we don't really have that. I mean, we drove the CNE into the fucking ground. We don't have a culture of expos. We don't have a culture of conventions. We don't have a culture of going to fairs and stuff like that. We just, for whatever reason, we just don't care. We go to festivals. We go to like maple syrup festivals for some reason. That's a big thing, but we don't have the connection to fairs and festivals and events that Americans do. So I think very well this could be the final nail in the convention coffin. We could see the end of Anime North. We could see the end of Fan Expo. We could see the end of conventions as we know it. Cosplayers have already fled to OnlyFans, exactly. Yeah, we have good music festivals. Like, people go to festivals. People go to like music fests, or like Jazz Fest is huge. Blues Fest is huge. Food festivals are huge. But like in terms of going to a convention or an expo, we just don't have it here. No one seems to care. And so I think, unfortunately, it's going to be an uphill battle to get people to come back to your traditional conventions. Because conventions, as they were in the past handful of years, let me just say this. Oktoberfest has been operating in this region for 50 years. And the past couple of years, they were garbage. Nobody went to it. Let me just say that. If you aren't bringing something to the table, then you're not worth going to. You laugh at the thought that Fan Expo and Niagara Falls Comic Con still think they're going to go on this year. They won't. They won't. A large issue of events going on this year is that most of these events, the Fan Expos, the Anime North, the Niagara Falls Comic Cons, they rely on international talent. They don't rely on Canadian talent. They don't bring in Canadian celebrities. They bring in American celebrities. They bring in Japanese celebrities. And right now, with the travel restrictions, we can't do that. It's very, very tight. And people are very apprehensive about traveling. Especially when you're putting, like, for a celebrity that just goes to conventions, right? Or makes their money off of doing events or whatever else. It's a big fucking risk. Because that could put you out for months. That could put you out for years. That could end your career. You have to like take a huge fucking risk. Whereas if you just have a bunch of events locally, you can just hang out. Yeah, Bryan Adams for Fan Expo. Exactly. There's a lot of great Canadian talent. I mean, that's the one thing that I really enjoyed during my time at Kitchener Comic Con was finding out the great Canadians that we had. We could bring them forward and we could showcase them. And because we weren't a Fan Expo, we could get away with getting a Bryan Adams, for example. Or like we could get away with bringing in a smaller Canadian talent that people might recognize but not be super huge. Hello, Leo Slayer. Long time no see. Yes. We're trying a new format now. So that's one thing I really enjoyed about my time with Kitchener Comic Con is because that was what that convention was. We were going out of the norm instead of swinging for the Mark Hamills. We were trying to get the local talents, the smaller names, bring them forward, like the PJ Phils, things that you could bring up. It has been a year today since Kitchener Comic Con. Actually. This time last year, it was Kitchener Comic Con time. Incredible. Forget Toys is Canadian. He just talks to them. Exactly. Bring in the fucking VAs from the Ocean Dub. It'd be a bit pricey because they mostly all live in Vancouver. But this is what I mean. We have Canadian celebrities that people would know. Like we could bring in the voice actor from Goku for the Ocean Dub. We could bring in all the voice actors from the Ocean Dub. All that stuff. And that wouldn't be a Fan Expo thing because Fan Expo wouldn't be bringing in that type of talent. But like a convention like Kitchener Comic Con would be. Right? So. But again, for those of you who don't know, I stepped away from Kitchener Comic Con a little while ago. The end of last year because of some differences in operation. You're supposed to be in Toronto this time last year, Rip. Because of some differences in philosophy and operation, I stepped away from Kitchener Comic Con. So I don't know what the future plans for that is, but I hope that they continue going. I think personally that conventions are going to have to change incredibly, or they're all going to like basically die of famine. Because the current structure of spending exorbitant amounts of money to bring in talent that a handful of people are going to watch, it's not sustainable. It was sustainable when you had a constant churning of people hoping we'll be able to do more cons. I might have some ideas. But it's gonna take time. If I'm gonna be doing it by myself, it's gonna take some time to put together. Because I still have the desire, I still have the want to do it. But I don't want to work for anybody else at this point. I don't want to work for an Anime North. I don't want to work for KCC. I don't want to work for a Fan Expo because I don't want to put money in other people's pockets. I mean, on behalf of other people, I want to build something for myself, and I want to be able to do things. CrumbCon. I want to be able to do things the proper way, and build it the proper way, and build it sustainably. So, but I think the conventions are going to have to seriously give a hard look at how they're operating, and change things up, or else they're all gonna be washed away. I was talking about this the other day on my Twitch stream. I was talking about this the other day about how not having a convention for a year is kind of dicey. Not having it for 2 years is outright dangerous. Because you're talking about, if you want to build your fan base, right? If you want to build your fan base as a convention owner, you want to target the young audience. Or you want to target the oldest audience and then have them bring their children, because ultimately you want to get the kids in to get the experience, and then get them entranced in it, and then they'll have good memories, and then they'll have the nostalgia. So when it comes around again, they'll be the ones to go, and they'll be the ones to spend money. Make it magical for them when they're little, right? Make it a great time for their parents. Their parents bring them. All of these things are key. And when you remove that, so the thing that worked for Anime North was giving the 13 and 14 and 15-year-olds somewhere to go without parental supervision. The way it was. Everyone knows it. Anime North was a place where people could go to, bang each other, do drugs, drink. 13, 14, 15, 16. There you go. They'd have a hotel room to themselves. They'd do whatever the hell they wanted. That was Anime North. That was a big draw for a lot of people at Anime North. And you get into a habit, right? So after the luster of that wears off, then you just start going to Anime North because it's something you've always done. Like, I just go to Anime. You see it all the time. It's like, well, I go to Anime North because I just go to Anime North. It's something I do every May. It becomes a routine, not because it's good, but because it's something you've always done. And then it's something that's just rotating. It's like, well, I've always gone. I may as well just go. And then you set aside money for that, and then you plan, years ahead, and then you just keep going. It's that addiction that a lot of these larger conventions prey on, and it works. It's a tried and tested method, right? So when you see an Anime North scale back and scale back and scale back on what they put out there, and just keep putting out more crap and more garbage and more shit, all of a sudden your unique Japanese vendors are being replaced by pop figurine vendors. Like 5-1. You're shutting out your artists. You're cutting out Artist Alley entirely. You're shitting on your gaming center. But your numbers are still increasing. Because people aren't paying attention to what's going on inside the building. They're creating their own experience outside for free. That's why Anime North was so huge. But now we're in a situation where people can't do that. And they're getting older. All of a sudden, the 16, 17-year-olds are 19, 20. And they go to college, or they get new friend groups. They move on. They don't have a connection to Anime North anymore. All of a sudden, Anime North comes around 2022. Well, that was a cool thing I did when I was a kid, but I've grown out of it now. It's over. That's one example. Now you're looking at vendors who spent a lifetime building things, bringing unique things, artists that had to go do this stuff at conventions. They go to Anime North every year. They go to Fan Expo every year. And they sell stuff constantly. So they go there. And now all of a sudden, they don't have a way to make money. They don't have a way to get revenue. So they have to find something different. Maybe they close up shop. Maybe they have to get a full-time job because all of a sudden the stuff that they made, all the nerdy stuff they made, they can't sell anymore because the conventions aren't running. So now they have to get work, pay bills. And they can't go to Anime North anymore. all of a sudden, there goes another unique vendor for Anime North. What's that get replaced with? Oh, it gets replaced with another pop figurine. You're getting commissions on the cheap because of coronavirus? Yeah. Yeah. It's because people need to pump out things fast to get money. Because they don't have a job. They don't have income. This was their income. This is how they made their money. And it's unfortunate because you look at cosplayers who had never really made money to begin with. Their cosplayers made money on on the attention they got, right? It was getting stopped every 5 minutes for a photo. Oh, it's so exhausting being a cosplayer. I have to pose every 5 minutes for photos. But now what are they doing? Running to OnlyFans. Now they're getting paid to take their costumes off. Aside from the cuteness factor, you don't get the appeal of pop figurines. I think Doug Tenaple called it junk pop art. It is. That's all it is. It's garbage. Like Beanie Babies. People think that pop figurines are going to hold their value. I mean, look at Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies are like in the toilet now. Give it another 5-10 years. Pop figurines will be there too. But yeah, this is what we're seeing now. People are, and this is after years of drilling into their own heads that I have a brand, I have a brand, I have a value, I have a brand. Well, your brand is about as valuable as what your ass looks like on video. Hope it was worth building for 5 years for you to go on and just show your tits off. Like, I have nothing against sex workers, right? I have nothing against sex workers. I have friends who are in the sex work industry. The problem here is that we're teaching 13, 14, 15-year-olds that this is the only thing they can do. And I don't know what you can say about that. So it's unfortunate. I think that we should go back to our roots in terms of conventions, in terms of cosplaying, in terms of all that stuff. Go back to our roots. Do it for fucking fun. Don't do it for money. Because like hockey players, there's not many people out there that are going to make it to the NHL, right? There's not many cosplayers out there that are going to make it to the heights of the Negris, etc. And Negri is not just a cosplayer. She is a marketer. I've said this 1,000 times before. She doesn't just get paid to put on skimpy clothing. She gets paid because she's really fucking good at marketing things. And if you don't have that secondary talent, you're fucking worthless. What it is, unfortunately. Better not tell Lemon you know how the folks in the that I know folks in the sex industry might blow a gasket. His lungs singing "Take Me Home Tonight." Negri sounds like a joint health supplement. There you go. I mean, yes, she does have big boobs. But people see that and they assume that it's only the front end that is the thing that's making the money. They don't understand that she is legitimately a great marketer, right? There's a number of great marketers out there that have that have faces for radio, and they stay on Twitter, but they're good at marketing. This is what it is. There's a new television and radio now. We're looking at it. YouTube and Twitter. So, I think it's a dangerous time for conventions. I think Unfortunately, conventions are probably going to be on the downturn unless we change the way. You got to go, Demon Wolf? No problem. Take care. Thanks for hanging out. Do I think that Nigri's a fake nerd? I don't think so. I mean, I don't know her personally, so I don't know. I don't know enough about her to make a determination. But I know there's plenty of people that will just pretend to be nerdy. Like, look at the fucking games journalists out there. Let me take a moment for that. Let me take a moment for that before we get into the Gina situation. Show of hands. Show of hands in the chat. How many people, when I say the name Chun-Li, how many people think of Mortal Kombat? Show of hands. When I say Chun-Li, first thought pops into your head, she's in Mortal Kombat. So, let me give some background on this, okay? You want to talk about fake nerds, okay? You want to talk about fake nerds and people exposing themselves. When the Mortal Kombat trailer dropped, you knew this was coming. When the Mortal Kombat trailer dropped, is Chun-Li in Smash Brothers yet? She could be. Could be soon. They showcased a bunch of different characters. They showcased Jax, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Sonya Blade, Kano, Raiden, Liu Kang, all the goodies. I mean, Johnny Cage isn't in there. Hey, look at all those hands. All those hands. So Johnny Cage isn't in there. You think thick thighs in Street Fighter? Exactly, James Andrew Morrison. Exactly. I'm going to update something. There we go. I'm adding the donation button thing to the description. So text to speech, by the way, if you want to send a message, you can donate via the link that's now in the description below, and it will text to speech that whatever it is over $2. So okay. There's a games journalist. I'm not going to say her name, because, you know, heaven forbid we create another Sarkeesian here. There's a games journal that wrote a giant fucking article about why the woman of color Chun-Li was being excluded from the Mortal Kombat movie. Insert misogynism, insert racism. Why is it that a white female character is taking the lead in Street Fighter in Mortal Kombat? Why isn't Chun-Li included in the Mortal Kombat universe, one of the best fighters of all time? Let me because it's Mortal Kombat. Because Chun-Li is from Street Fighter. This is a thing that happened, folks. There was somebody out there that was stupid enough to not only take their shoe off, but stick their foot so far in their mouth that it came out the other side. They literally were attacking the Mortal Kombat movie for not including Chun-Li. And then afterwards, came out and said, "Oh, it was just a joke, bruv. We were out there pwning all the misogynists. That's why in your article, your website came out and said, "Oh, this website just found out that Chun-Li is in Street Fighter, not Mortal Kombat." Wow. I mean, you just found this out. You just found this out. I mean, I don't know. Carry the two. They've both been out for like 20 plus fucking years. But you're just finding it out now. I mean, I don't know, guys. I don't know why Garurumon is not included in the new Pokemon as a starter. I think we have to have a discussion with the creators of Pokemon as to why they're excluding such an iconic character. Like, so yeah, this is the state of our world right now. This is the state of our world right now. Which brings me to the final topic for the day. Brings me to the final topic of the day. Gina Carano. I don't know. I mean, like everyone has said it 1,000 times more than I have, and some people less so. What the shit that happened to her was fucking terrible. I'm glad that she got her like 3 hours of fame on YouTube from the grifting community. I'm sure they made a lot of money off that situation. Spends 20 hours trying to catch Bugs Bunny on Pokemon Go. Exactly, it's the rarest Pokemon. I canceled my subscription to Disney Plus, much to the fret of WandaVision fans. I'm certain. I have a few people that I've been loaning my Disney Plus to. They'll probably be upset that I cut the subscription, but I'm doing it because I don't want to support Disney's decision to cancel Gina Carano. I don't care. I will find other methods to watch the shows that I want to watch. I am vehemently voicing my displeasure over them canceling her for such a stupid fucking decision. Let's just make this clear, okay? Gina was comparing how Germany got to where it was. She was not comparing the Holocaust to being conservative. She was comparing that situation. She was saying that situation didn't start with zealots killing people in the streets. It started with everyday people fighting each other. Anyone with a fucking brain in their skull could see that. So they want to use the excuses of her attacking the trans community because there's been a ravenous pack of fucking jackals that were after her to put her pronouns and declare that, and to have her declare that Cara Dune was either a lesbian or a trans. And she put out Beep Bop Boop, which is apparently the most offensive thing on the face of the planet. Let me just say this really quickly here. It's bullshit. Bullshit. Now, I heard bits and pieces that Gina's interview with Ben Shapiro. And one of the parts that actually stuck out to me Now I've been trying to find a way to get a fucking message to her or send her an email or anything. I can't find her fucking contact information anywhere. But so this is an open letter to Gina Carano. Okay. In her interview, she stated that the trans community has to do a better job. I'm paraphrasing. The trans community needs to do a better job at picking who speaks for them. Okay? So I want to say to Gina this very thing. Nobody speaks for the trans community. Period. Nobody speaks for the trans community any more than they speak for you as a woman, Gina. Nobody speaks for the trans community more than anyone speaks for you as a Christian. That's the only thing I have a problem with. Okay? Everything else I'm 100% behind Gina in. But saying that 12 people on Twitter speak for an entire group of people, most of whom don't even have social media because it's a cesspool. And say that those 12 people speak for the rest of us is probably about as ignorant as saying that Gina Carano's statements were comparing the Holocaust to being a conservative. Understand that this shit goes in both directions. And while I understand that Gina has been going through a fucking shit ton, I want to reach out to her and I want to tell her that it's not everybody. That it's a very small percentage of a small percentage. And that she shouldn't listen to these fucking lunatics. And by saying that the trans community needs to do a better job of choosing who speaks for them, she's actually empowering the very culture that got her fucking removed by acknowledging it. So here's what needs to happen. It's not a fact of ignoring them anymore. Because everyday people can ignore them, that's fine. They're still going to fucking go through it. Companies need to stop putting these fucking lunatics on a pedestal. People need to stop. Companies need to stop going out and finding the fucking person that's wearing underwear on their fucking head on a street corner and acting like they're the ones that are talking sanity. They need to get people who are moderate. They need to stop getting radicals. They need to stop empowering these fucking lunatics that are going on and moving the fucking goalpost as far as they could kick a fucking football. They need to stop it. It needs to come from companies. Because the more you empower radicalism, the more radical they become. Because there is no end game. Start talking to normal people. Everyday people. Stop talking to people that want to be that want the attention. Saying that you're going out and listening to these fucking lunatics on Twitter is just about as bad as talking about, like, whatever the fuck Yaniv wants to call itself now. Saying that Yaniv speaks for the fucking trans community. No. They don't speak for anybody but themselves. They aren't doing anything on behalf of a group to further the interest of that group. They're doing it to further their own interest and further their own fame as an individual. So stop fucking letting it happen. I mean, if you think that anybody at all that was going after Gina fucking gives a shit about what real trans people go through, I'm not saying that there's fake trans people going after her. What I'm saying is these individuals don't understand that there's a fucking world outside of their own head. They don't get it. Stop talking to these fucking lunatic star children who only eat and drink sunlight. They aren't regular people. Talk to the people who actually go through shit every fucking day and who live a fucking life and who want to live a normal fucking life. And I will say this to the trans community. Stop putting up with this shit. Stop letting these fucking assholes speak for you. You know, I actually had a coworker. Well, not really a coworker. It was one of our supervisor managers. Talked to me the other day because her child came out as non-binary, and she had no idea how to handle it because she says she wants to be supportive and all this stuff. So she asked me, a very respectful conversation. She's like, I want to support, but I've only ever known them as this. And they want me to use these pronouns. And she's like, it's hard for me. And they want me to come out and list my pronouns and start saying this stuff and blah, blah. She's like, but that makes me uncomfortable. She's like, how do I talk about this? And so my words here, because it's a teenager you're dealing with, so obviously the emotions are going to be all over the place too, and rebellious. But the fact of the matter is, and this goes out to all trans people too, don't force yourself into an insulated echo chamber. Because in the real world, in life, you're going to be in situations where you're going to have your views challenged. You're going to have to speak up for yourself. No one else is going to speak up for you. You're going to be in a situation where you have to defend your values, your views, your opinions. So get used to being able to stand up for yourself and defend yourself. Because if you let everybody else do it for you, who's going to do it when there's no one else around? Are you constantly going to be a victim? Are you constantly going to let yourself be a victim? And what I told her was that their child was, like, her child was in a situation where they felt vulnerable, right? Obviously. And they want the reassurance, they want the support, they want the echo chamber because it's comfortable. And it's like, what you needed to do is you need to go to your child and say, look, I support you. I still love you unconditionally. This is your choice. This is your decision. This is how, and this is a difficult thing for me. You need to respect that this is difficult for me too. And there's going to be people out there that don't agree with it. There's going to be people out there that challenge you. And you need to be strong enough to stand up to those people because I'm not always going to be here to do that. And that's something that every fucking trans person out there needs to get through their fucking skull. Is that it's not just a magical girl transformation in either direction, male to female, female to male. It's not just a waving the fucking wand and all of a sudden everyone's going to be accepting of you. It's a fucking uphill fight. There are people that choose not to make that transition because they can't handle that. And the people that do choose to make that transition need to fucking realize this is not a cakewalk. that you're going to have people out there that are ignorant and that are assholes every fucking day. And you can't expect businesses, you can't expect other individuals, whatever. You can't expect free handouts from everybody to make life better for you. Because that's not going to change anything. It's going to make people resent you. It's going to make things worse. So when people do have questions, don't meet that with defense. Because there's a lot of people out there that genuinely want to help and change. And there's a lot of lunatics out there that meet any sort of resistance. And I'm not saying like, bullying and stuff like that. I'm saying a person has a genuine question and they're approaching it respectfully. Any resistance whatsoever is met with hostility, and that needs to stop. We need to stop blaming things on our skin color. We need to stop blaming things on our gender. We need to start taking personal responsibility. Just as for every trans person out there, it was not a choice to be born a specific sex. It's not other people's choices to have that pushed on them either. Realize it's an uncomfortable situation for a lot of individuals, including ourselves. But the fact of the matter is, what does it fucking matter to me as an individual? This is what we have to ask ourselves. What does it matter to me as an individual if a Gina Carano is posting her pronouns? Does that change my life? No, it doesn't. Am I wanting her to do it because it makes me feel better? If that's the case, that's a me problem. That's not her problem. That's an introspective I have to look at and say, why am I so insecure that I have to have everyone else look and act like me? That's what I want to get through to Gina. That's what I want to get through to the trans community. It's a fucking group effort here. What happened to her was deplorable. Disney abso-fucking-lutely should be held accountable for it. And I hope that she's able to sue for wrongful termination. Problem is, Twitter is their lives. That's the thing. That's a them problem. If you only exist in a crisis or you only exist in social media, you need to get help. It's not healthy. Because you're living in a world that doesn't exist in reality. You're living in a world of your own creation. And in most cases, when that happens, we call it dementia. It is a mental issue. Creating a fucking fabricated realm where you can go and be whatever you want, that's fine. But you eventually have to come to terms with reality. And it sucks. It sucks for everybody. Even cisgender people. It sucks. Because, some guys don't have the muscles they want. Or sometimes their stomach is too big. Some women don't have the tits they want. Some women don't have the ass. Everyone deals with reality. Everybody. Everybody has issues with their body image. Hey Stan, how you doing? Don't forget Lucasfilm seems to be absolutely. 100%. Whoever it came down to, like Lucasfilms 1000% should be fucking taken to court over that fucking bullshit statement. Absolutely. Well, James Andrew Morrison, people want conflict because it generates attention. And this is a big thing. Let me just put on my psychiatrist hat here for a moment. My invisible psychiatrist hat. Because I'm not actually a doctor. This comes down to not having enough attention. It comes down to growing up in a parentless household. It comes down to growing up in front of a screen where you didn't have a fulfilling childhood. This is the repercussion of when get Robot Ken Jennings in. This is the repercussion of years, decades of participation ribbons, teaching people that winning is bad. Teaching people that the people who are successful are terrible. Because they're pushing victory, because they're victorious and everyone else that's not victorious is the majority. So people who are losers are better than the people who are winning. Because there's only one winner. It's hundreds of losers, right? So obviously the hundreds of losers are better than the single winner. It's backwards logic. And it's because of inclusion tactics, forced inclusion, that's actually driving people away from each other. Probably why you can't understand it, like you get things done and don't care who gets the credit. It's a bucket of crabs. It's the thing though. Andrew Morrison, you have nailed it on the fucking head. When my age group grew up, okay? When my age group grew up, we were taught team economics, right? The value of teamwork, working as a team. There was no I in team. People work together, they share victories, they share defeats. Equity, not equality. Everybody puts the effort in together. You win as a team, you lose as a team. We don't have that anymore. Now it's everyone else's fault. I lost because of somebody else. I didn't contribute to the loss. I did everything right. If you lost, you lost. There's no loyalty anymore. Nothing. It's the support mentality, right? Being selfless. Putting yourself in a position where you're going to perform poorly, but at the same time, you're doing it so that the other people around you can succeed. It's playmaking. It's, it's being supportive. It's doing the things that need to happen to garner success. Taking ownership, responsibility, respect. Head to bed. This is a good stream. Finish it later at work. Thank you so much, Lito. I appreciate you. Appreciate you hanging out. All of these things that we've been missing. All of these things that have been missing. You can do everything in a race against Usain Bolt, but you'll still lose it. Exactly. You could do everything right and still fail. That is not weakness. That is just life. I mean, it is what it is. People look at failure as the ultimate ending, where failure is just finding out a way to not do something. The way it is. Hopefully I'll be able to see Neutral Zone Studios one day. It's a wonderful place. I don't know if I'll be able to. Traveling is kind of tough. Mostly financially for me right now, but traveling is kind of rough. Yeah, probably gonna be a short stream, an hour and a half later. Y'all got me talking. No, we're not going to be going much longer. But no, it's something we've been lacking for a very long time. And we've been watering down and watering down and watering down for the not the lowest common denominator, but for the lowest denominator. And it's a really terrible thing because we're kind of flushing ourselves down the toilet at this point. And we're seeing the results. We're seeing the results. We see people who are genuinely trash and garbage attacking people who are kind, generous. And they do it because they want mediocrity. They want mediocrity. Yeah, just to remind people, there is a donation button. I finally remembered to include it now. It's in the description button, the donation button. If you donate $2 or more, you get the thing pops up on the screen and actually reads whatever message you type in there. That's a new thing now that I've been doing on here. I'm reopening the Knuckleheads Patreon, by the way. I don't think it's up right now, but the Patreon should be up again eventually. Be sure to follow me at DarksideEV on Twitter. I announced my Twitch streams on there. I announce other stuff too. And what's going on here? Last weekend you saw your buddy Vec. Yes, Toy Man. How was that? How was that, Stan? Hopefully all were good. Pencil me down for one of those guest spots. Remember we talked about kind of stepping into the light, so to speak? This is true. This is true. Exactly. If everyone's shit, then shit becomes the new norm. And we should be striving for greatness. We shouldn't be striving for mediocrity. We should not be striving for mediocrity. And that's, unfortunately, we're at a race to the finish. It was great. Very happy to hear that. Yeah, Tom P, we need to get you a cat filter. So that's what needs to happen. I am not a cat. I am not a cat. Yeah. As for these streams, I don't know how many I'm going to be doing. I don't know how often we're going to be doing them. I'd like to get back into like kind of a routine with them, but it really depends on the news. It really depends on like who wants to come on, who wants to talk, and what. If I have enough to talk about by myself, like I have today, I'll just pop on a Breakaway show and just talk about it myself. Good time hanging with your friend. I'm happy to hear. I'm happy to hear that he's doing well. I'm happy to see that he's succeeding in the face of adversity. It was definitely a long road. But happy he's getting there. So I will end off, I guess, on like a more positive thing. So I am looking at projects right now. I am looking at starting different projects right now. Mostly the biggest hurdle right now is funding. Which is it's always that's the toughest one to get through. Especially now with coronavirus and everything else like that. So I'm hoping it may take a few years for my projects to get off the ground, but I am working on a few things, trying to get some things in place to hopefully have something in the next 5 years or so. That's my goal. In the next 5 years. Great to see me too. Thank you so much, Stan. It's great to see you. Appreciate everybody. I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out. It's really been awesome. Even coming out to listen to me just ramble by myself for an hour and a half. But yeah, if anybody has topics that they want me to cover or suggest, here's another thing I want to offer. Just like there's a lot of stuff that I want to get off, and I rambled a lot about a lot of things. Here's one service I want to offer people. as I thought about this, and this is probably a good thing. With the breakaway thing and with everything else, if there's somebody out there that you're having a dispute with per se, or you're having a disagreement with, I will be happy to moderate between the two of you and have a face-off stream where I'll let you both come on, you both say your piece, and then I'll slap some divine holy judgment into both of you. I'll offer that service to people. It's not necessarily a blood sport stream. Not like the kill stream or anything else like that. That already exists. But generally, if people out there, so like, if you know, I offer it to everybody. Like Judge Judy, exactly. I will come in and settle disputes for people. But, DC versus Marvel fans. Exactly. Anime Week in Atlanta is going virtual this year in December. Oh my god. Judgment to the plaintiff. Exactly. I will offer a face-off stream for anybody that's out there has a dispute. If both sides are disputing each other, I'll be happy to come in and give my opinion on things. Hello, Randy. Good to see you make it. Good to see you make it, sir. But yeah. So I want to do little fun things with the stream, just kind of like break up the way that things go. So like this breakaway stream's been fun. So I probably will do more of these. These ones I'm only going to do when I have like stuff to talk about though. I'm not just going to come on and just shoot the shit for an hour. I might, but we'll see. Generally when I have stuff to talk about. We'll have the regular Canucklehead streams when I have either a guest co-host or a guest in general. We'll have the regular Canuckleheads format. But I'm liking this. This is really interesting stuff. So this is fun. This is fun to do. Bring in the dancing lobsters. Exactly. Love your treasures, Superman and Spider-Man teaming up. So I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you coming to hang out today. It was really awesome. I can't believe it's been a year since Kitchener Comic Con, since we had Vic, and it's an absolutely phenomenal time. Absolutely phenomenal time. And I hope in the future that one day I will be able to knock on his door and get him to Canada once again. Exactly. Court proceeding Judge Crumb. Exactly. That has been all I really have to talk about today. I don't want to drag on too long for people that are either watching this or people are listening to this later on. Follow me at DarksideEV on Twitter. You can check out Canuckleheads as well on Patreon. And if you're enjoying it, be sure to drop a donation, drop a sub, click the little follow button, click the notification button thingy, all the things that YouTube wants me to say. You do all that cool stuff. And yeah, I stream on Twitch usually like either every other night or whatever else, gaming and stuff. So if you want to follow me on Twitch and follow my gaming, yeah, there'll probably be a Twitch stream tonight. I'll probably be playing Disgaea tonight. Like calling it Canuckle Court. That's fucking funny. Knuckle Court face off. Yeah. Let me know when we can do that show. Just if just got here right at the end. You got some good content to catch up on Dysrhythmia though. You got some good stuff to watch in the past hour and a half. Dropping some heat. So but yeah. If anybody wants to do a show, DM me on Twitter. Let me know. Pitch a show idea. I'll have you on. I don't care what it is. I usually have opinions about most things. Now let's get a hockey stick to smack as a gavel. A little mini stick. Little mini stick. But that is going to do it for me today, folks. Thank you so much. Be sure to check out my Twitch channel. Be sure to check out DarksideEV on Twitter. And eventually when the Canuckleheads Patreon is up, you can check that out as well. Keep me going. Keep me afloat. I appreciate all of you. You had convention topics for this year's con's dead. May have to wait. Yeah. Get in touch with Drunk 3PO. He has had her on his YouTube channel. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm a nobody, so I literally am a nobody that if I reach out to people, they're gonna be like, "Who the fuck is this weirdo?" Like, I'll try, but I mean, I've had no luck. I mean, I hope the point that I was sending out to Gina gets to Gina. If it doesn't, then I mean, I've had as much luck as I've had so far, so really no loss. But appreciate all of you. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Really do appreciate all of you. You're all are amazing. That is going to do it for today. And this Canuckleheads Breakaway. Keep your stick on the ice, folks. Have a good one.